In this video, we've got your full in-depth comparison between two amazing G Master lenses, the Sony 70-200 F2.8 and the 100-400. As usual, breaking these down in terms of size, build, performance, and value to show you the differences and similarities, as well as hopefully answer which one's going to be better for you depending on your shooting style. And because they're both compatible, we'll also have a look at how they perform with the 1.4 times teleconverter. Let's get started. Here it is, my friends, the ultimate showdown between the 70-200 and the 100-400 G Master. We're diving in and giving you everything that you need to know to make a choice between these two. Here's some specs to get you going. If you haven't seen one of my videos before, my name's Stefan Malloch, and if you do enjoy this type of content and you like this video, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. With that out of the way, we're jumping right into our first category, which is size. Now at first glance, these lenses appear to be about the same size, but actually only one of them extends as it zooms, and that's the 100-400. The 70-200 is completely internally focusing and zooming, meaning it doesn't extend whatsoever, which is fantastic when it comes to overall balance as well as weather sealing. Unextended with the lens hood on, the 100-400 measures 10 3/4 inches long, where the 70-200 measures just a little bit more at 11 inches. Fully zoomed, however, the 100-400 does extend out to 14 inches. Now with the lens hood off for traveling, they both measure in at about 8 inches, completely reasonable if you ask me. Surprisingly, when it comes to weight, they are very close, but the edge does go to the 100-400. It's also worth noting that although they both share a 77mm filter thread, the 70-200 is a little bit thinner in diameter. It's not entirely fair to put these two up head to head when it comes to size, so they both win. Now let's dive in and have a look at the build and feature differences between these two lenses. And being two of Sony's highest end G Master lenses, they both have fantastic feel and build quality. With both lenses, Sony's included a nice soft case, which is going to be great for travel. Even the lens hoods come equipped with all your needs to quickly and easily access your filters. They definitely have a very similar look and feel. Both the focus rings turn easily and accurately. And as far as the zoom's concerned, obviously the 70-200 has a much shorter throw. They both share 3 customizable focus hold buttons, as well as an automatic manual focus switch, a focus limiting switch, of course image stabilization, and a mode 1 and 2 switch, which is going to be great for panning. They also share an incredibly convenient, easily adjustable and removable tripod collar. This is a great feature I've used on countless occasions, and here's just how quickly it works in action. On the front of both lenses, you'll find Sony's proprietary nano AR coating, which is set to help with ghosting and flare. On the back, you'll find a sturdy metal mount, as well as a little rubber gasket for confidence when it comes to weather sealing. One feature that you'll find only on the 100-400 is this smooth to tight zoom ring selector, which lets you customize the feel and sensitivity of your zoom. The 70-200 does have a feature that I love, being full-time manual focus override, which I really wish the 100-400 did have. So this feature, coupled with its internal focus and zooming, as well as its extremely short throw, makes this a breeze for quick target acquisition. All in all, they're pretty much packed with every feature you could ask for. The 70-200 does have that awesome internal zooming, but the 100-400 does have double the focal range. For built-in features, they both get a check. Now let's have a look at what matters, and that's performance. But both of these lenses aren't designed for the exact same thing per se. One is a fast constant f2.8, and one has a variable aperture with more reach. Right off the bat, both lenses perform fantastically, but let's dive into the autofocus. Here's a low light stress test with the 70-200, wide open at f2.8 at 200mm. Now in good light, both of these lenses are going to have absolutely incredible autofocus. But what about low light? That's what I'm testing here, and as you can see, at f2.8 it does struggle just a tiny bit. Here's the same test, but now at f5.6. You can see it definitely struggles a little bit more. Now here's the same test with the 100-400 at f5.6, also at 200mm. Now there's nothing hugely scientific about these tests, but despite being a slower lens, the 100-400 does perform better when it comes to autofocus, both in good light and low light. It's faster and more accurate. Here's a look side by side in real time, and this isn't overly surprising for me. The 100-400 was released with and for the A9, being a sports and wildlife tailored lens. Having said that, the 70-200 is no slouch either. Let's have a look at how they perform shooting stills. You can bet that whatever you point this lens at, whatever you throw at it, it's gonna perform. I'm constantly amazed by this thing and just whipping my camera around to capture whatever might be heading my way. It acquires focus and captures whatever I'm looking for instantly. But what about the 70-200? There's some lenses that you pick up and you just don't click with. This is not one of those lenses. The character of this lens is absolutely beautiful. Its rendering is sharp and yet it's dreamy. The colors and contrast come through beautifully. The bokeh is absolutely incredible with its 11 aperture blades. And with its constant f2.8, it's definitely going to have the upper hand when it comes to portraits. But that's not all it can do. It's also going to be a capable lens for street photography, landscape. It really is a jack of all trades. But what if you need a bit more reach? Well, remember that teleconverter? Here it is in action. I'm happy to report that with the 1.4x teleconverter, you're going to experience very little loss in sharpness as well as autofocus performance. I did notice that eye autofocus isn't quite as accurate, but honestly, it's a great pickup to have that versatility when you need it. Here's the difference in focal length that you can expect. Now let's check out the teleconverter on the 100-400. Here's a look at our longer focal length lens at work with the teleconverter. And without your crop mode, you're going to be able to get out to 560mm. Throw crop mode on for an insane 840mm equivalent. Not bad for an 8-inch long lens. Do keep in mind that whatever lens you use the teleconverter with, you will lose one stop of light. Here's a few more examples for you, and if you do want to see a more in-depth comparison of the sharpness or any other aspect of this, make sure you check out my full in-depth review of both of these lenses. Let's check out a quick sharpness comparison between these two lenses. And there's a clear winner, and I'm not talking about just that f8 here stop down, I'm talking about every aperture and every focal range. And the clear winner is the 100-400. As you can see here in the center, it's really a landslide victory. As you can see, it's much sharper with much better contrast. But that's really not the whole story. The corners are really where it gets interesting. As you can see here, there's really absolutely no contest. The corners of the 70-200 are anything but impressive. We've got some chromatic aberration coming in, a little bit of distortion, and the sharpness is lacking. The 100-400, however, really holds it together, and for what it is very impressive. Easily optically, the 100-400 is the clear winner. And again, if you did want to see sharpness in more detail, make sure you check out my full in-depth review on both. Next, I wanted to touch on something worth talking about, and that's minimum focus distance. The 70-200 has a minimum focus distance of just over 3 feet, which by 70-200 standards isn't all that impressive. You can get decently close to your subjects, but this is where the 100-400 really becomes an amazingly versatile lens. Also having a minimum focus distance of just over 3 feet, you can effectively get about 2 times closer to your subjects, having double the focal length. This is maybe my favorite aspect of this lens, making it, in my opinion, the perfect travel lens. Here's a look at image stabilization at work on both of these lenses, and it's a very welcome feature on both. Here's the 70-200 handheld at 200mm, and here's the 100-400 handheld at 400mm. As you can see, a great feature that's going to make a big difference when it comes to stills as well as video. So when it comes to performance as a whole, both of these lenses are incredibly solid. They're obviously not the same lenses, and therefore it's not really fair to judge them side by side. This is more of a comparison video to help you decide which one's going to be better for your shooting needs. As far as performance is concerned, once again, they both get a check. Finally, let's touch on value. And being G Master lenses, these are Sony's top line, which means they're going to come at a price. Both incredibly expensive, the 70-200 around $2,400 American dollars, and the 100-400 around $25. There are alternatives now as we're getting more and more competition in the marketplace, most notably for the 70-200, the newer Tamron 70-180, and now we have a Sigma 100-400 that's come on the market recently. So if you are on a budget looking for different options, there are some choices for you. But as far as these two are concerned, again, it's really going to come down to your needs. For me personally, I'm always looking for the best versatility and performance in a lens that I can get. So in this case, when it comes to value, I give the edge to the Sony 100-400. Okay guys, so let's wrap up and finally figure out which one's going to be better for you. Do you need a constant fast f2.8? Do you do a lot of portraits? Well, maybe consider the 70-200. If you shoot a lot of wildlife and need the extra reach, and also like getting incredibly close to your subjects with an amazing minimum focus distance, maybe the 100-400 is better for you. Are you looking for a lens with internal zoom that has that ultimate confidence when it comes to weather sealing? 70-200. Or are you looking for the most versatility that you can get out of a lens? As always, here's my personal pros and cons for these two. And guys, if you made it this far, you might as well hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure you drop all your questions and your comments down below. Thanks so much for watching guys. If you liked this video, make sure you tell me what you liked about it, and if you didn't, same thing. As always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you next time.